Hey YouTube, and welcome to the MCs Unscripted, where we talk to artists, entertainers, and behind-the-scenes decision makers who are some of the best at what they do. So today we have something a little special for you guys. So for a long time now, you may have noticed that we've been focusing on music and wellness. You may have seen on one of our previous videos by Bryant Larson, he talks about music and the curing of Alzheimer's disease, fibromyalgia, and cancer. And obviously, so we are musicians and educators on the channel. So today we wanted to talk to a panel of professionals to ask you guys, did we get it right or not?
Sometimes when we're faced with a problem, whether Ikeda with her clients, with us, with our community, we kind of get frozen into thinking, well, I can't do this, or this is too difficult. And we shut out possibilities. And so again, maybe a role that we can think for music is that it reopens that world of possibilities for us. We have more courage to go into that unknown.
Complete well-being. So we need things like music in our lives to be healthy emotionally and psychologically, and the emotional benefit translates into physical health, and the emotional and psychological benefits, and the mental health benefits also translate to physical health.
By the end of his initial 6 weeks in inpatient speech and language therapy, Dia was not only more secure in himself, but he had made leaps in communicating. He was speaking more fluently and connecting several words and phrases together. To quote one of the medical staff, "We finally got to see the real Dio, the funny, social, and wonderful guy he is. He was communicating in conversations and telling jokes. It was incredible to witness. That's not a cure, that's healing."
So now we're going to just finish out the video and watch basically until the end at this point.
The idea is, let's bring back music as a science and not simply as an elective for those who seem more inclined to enjoy it. There was nothing in this whole video that said you ever had to be good at it. Just learning an instrument early and with purpose alone does the same thing for cognitive health, motor skills, social skills, the immune system, and even a deeper understanding of self in the student.
My own view is, and this might not be appreciated by a lot of music teachers, is actually the most important aspect is early on is social music making, not driving young kids to be a Yehudi Menuhin or whatever it might be, because that, my view is everyone is musical.
So no, music can't cure cancer, but studies have shown that music helps with the healing process of patients with cancer. Not only with the depression and anxiety, but with the actual healing of the body after chemo, surgery, and even in hospice care. Music is a part of being human, and we need it like we need air, community, movement, water. I think that's lost when we ask what it can or can't cure. We put more emphasis on curing the disease than healing the person. And interestingly enough, there's good reason for that. The people who have invented the life-saving vaccines and antibiotics that kill diseases that were once seen as incurable and deadly, they have used the cure approach, and it works. Now, I'm not a doctor, so I can't say for sure if my opinion is deeply flawed or correct. But I do know that there are people asking the same questions within the medical field. Music needs more experiments and needs to be put through the rigor of the scientific method before we can claim it cures anything. Its full context, from prevention to harm reduction to the maybe one day unlocking the secret communication of the mind, 40 hertz at a time. Can music cure cancer? That's not the question worth asking, in my opinion. The science and facts are there for that one. The real question is, how should we prioritize healing bones and blood cells, or spirits and inner peace? Or is there even healing without both? That, I don't know. But do you? If you do, go ahead and leave your answer in the comment section below. Hit that subscribe button right now.
That was the end. What did you guys think? Did we get it right in the video? Any ending remarks?
Very interesting that sort of that music. I guess you should encourage people to get engaged with a musical activity when they're young because of all the protective benefits it has long term. Maybe they may help prevent Alzheimer's and other forms of dementia. And secondly, if one maybe were to have misfortune of having a stroke, one's recovery might be better because of one's musical education and training. So it's maybe something we could initiate early and encourage people more on a participatory level rather than competitive mastery, because that's what it's like sports. I went to school where sports was very important. So if you weren't super good, then you're sort of thrown by the wayside. But rather, music should be something everybody should be encouraged to participate in, even if they're not very good at it and they can't be, not like you, and they can't be sort of do it at a competitive level.
Right.
But just the sake, for the sake of their health, the mental, emotional, and physical well-being, they should be. And of course, for us, heart health, definitely encouraged to participate musically.
Can I ask Ikeda a question? And that is, Ikeda, do you find, particularly working with young people, that, does music play a role, like with maybe those that you see that are more troubled or how they can cope with what life throws at them? Do you observe that in those that you work with or like in their family units?
I haven't yet. I haven't come across any families that have that distinction between the two. So I'm not sure. But now that I'm thinking back on it, I would probably recommend that, especially to the kids that are feeling a whole lot more stress, a whole lot more anxiety and depression. I think I would definitely recommend some sort of music integration just to get that part of them under control. So yeah, absolutely. As far as the ending remarks, I guess the big question is, how can music be integrated into the healthcare settings in order to improve patient outcomes? Like, how can we, I guess, measure the benefits or the advantages of that? So is that something that is possible? I know that I've seen, and I know it's on TV, but like shows where doctors will play music while they're operating. It's probably more for the doctors than the patients, but imagine if that that music playing in the background does help the patient even though they're unconscious, and having something played in the background for patients as they come in to kind of lessen the stress and improve their mood and improve their emotional wellness. So that question right there is I think something that should be worth looking into.
I'd like to actually just comment. This is not the ending remark, but I'd like to actually just add something to what Ikeda has said. I think that I read that as far back, I think it was in 20s or 40s, there were experiments in some US hospitals around playing music for patients and seeing whether that actually could initiate a faster healing or a better healing. So I think that over time, and I've also come across this in the UK setting, in some of the UK hospitals, more contemporary, that we've played around the edges around what music can do in a formalized healthcare setting. And, sometimes we don't pursue things long enough, or we don't put the resources into it to really know our hospital environments, for whom are they set up? Is it for the faster healing of patients who have to go in? Is it for efficiencies and safety and, the comfort of the medical teams? And of course, that's also very important. But maybe sometimes the balance isn't quite where it needs to be, or at different points of that patient experience. I know when I go into hospitals, or I have been into hospitals, I just want to get out of there. I don't find that there are places that encourage me to feel well, and that encourage me to feel, I know I'm taken care of, or I know the other person is being taken care of well. So I have that aspect. I'm reassured in that. But it doesn't fill me. I mean, again, in the video, he mentioned, an inner peace and maybe I'm in the wrong institutions, I don't know. But I would think that there's a lot we can do, whether it's with music, whether it's with nature, whether it is with light, whether it is with color, whether it is with, paintings, and that we could do to create a setting which is more conducive for everyone's well-being.
It's very interesting. A friend of mine, a colleague, actually had a disabling stroke very suddenly out of the blue, and it may have been related to a spike in blood pressure. But he's actually been discharged from hospital. He's at home, and I spoke with him yesterday, and I'd spoken to him about 2 weeks before, and he'd made a remarkable improvement in terms of his processing and his thinking. And it's a friend of his mother. His mother's a nurse. He's a surgeon. And his mother's a nurse. She had a good friend who suggested music therapy, and he did a full comprehensive rehab program, but that was missing. And I could see the difference over 2 weeks from the effect of just this homegrown sort of music therapy. And in terms, it's like night and day. So I recognize that something must have happened there. It may just have been coincidental. Maybe he was getting better but on his own, but it seemed to be that music really made a big difference, and that's been shown to happen in people post-stroke in terms of the rate of recovery. So I think.
And you talk about adjuvants.
Yeah, well, it says music is not necessarily the mainstay, but seems to facilitate other therapies. So on top of physical therapy, speech therapy, and occupational therapy, OT, he's getting music therapy, and I think the combined effect seems to have been very good for him. And it's really difficult for him because he's adjusting to being chief of surgery and then becoming a patient. And he said it was a very humbling experience. So I think the music has helped him sort of come to some degree of acceptance from being strong and powerful surgeon to being, a patient who has to learn to walk again, so that it's been, I think music has been very helpful in that process.
Wow, that's amazing.
So that's kind of like a long-winded, not my necessarily closing remarks, but I just wanted to add that in.
Well, I think music is potentially a really powerful therapeutic tool and also a preventive tool. And we may have forgotten how to use it because a lot of the ancients, a lot of the shamans in Native American culture, in the African culture, that music was part of the healing process, and it was part and parcel, wasn't separate. But we do know, for us, for me as a cardiologist, and for us in terms of preventive cardiology, preventing heart disease, that music influences food choices in terms of healthy eating, in terms of physical activity, or capacity to exercise is enhanced by the right kind of music, in terms of sleep, disconnecting with every day and settling into sleep music is very helpful for that. In terms of stress reduction, and we have Ikeda talking about stress and stress in family, stress at the workplace. But there's other things too, community and connection, that contribute to healing and health and heart health, life purpose and meaning, giving us a better understanding of who we are as human beings. And of course, our spirituality, which is also fundamental, important to heart health. So I can see music as a powerful tool we've just not even begun to explore in the context of modern science. We now have the means, we have randomized controlled trials, we have other forms of studies with natural experiments. And we have the science now that can validate a lot of this and give it a firmer footing. So we can begin to remember what we once knew and combine it with a lot of the new knowledge that's very scientific and very procedure oriented and all that. But I think it's music offers a possibility of uniting many aspects of health and medicine.
And I would add to that health does begin with the individual. And until we have those randomized control trials, until we have, the more robust conclusions, until it's institutionalized in our hospitals, in all the other places, we as individuals can make the choice to give more space to music in our lives, whether it is making music, whether it is making it formally in a group, in a choir, in a drumming circle, whether it is experiencing it live. I mean, fortunately now lives are coming back, so we can all give thanks for that and that experience, as well as listening to it. If we have, children, like these lovely experiences that both Edwin and Ikeda spoke of, which they remember so many years later from their childhood. If you are a parent, give this to your children. It doesn't matter if everyone sings out of tune, or it doesn't matter if you all stomp around the living room. It's just a wonderful way to connect with each other, to get off your feet, to move your body, to take yourself out of whatever is going on. Whether it is that you are using it actively to get more physical activity in your life, but as an individual, you can choose to give more space to music. I mean, hopefully this has affirmed its importance in so many dimensions. And to enjoy it it's such a beautiful expression of to be human and to share humanness with each other, to celebrate it for really the gift that it is to all of us.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Ikeda, Dr. Edwin, and Katrine, for joining us today on the channel. And we talked about so many important and interesting topics, and I hope YouTube that you got a lot from this video and it makes you kind of think about what role music can play in your life, and so thank you, YouTube, for watching. Please leave a comment in the comment section below and maybe subscribe to the channel. This is the MC's channel, Music at the Core of Everything. I'm Julia, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!
Now, before we go, I just want to let you know a little bit about who you've been listening to and how to support them. Edwin is a U.S.-Canadian trained cardiologist. Katrine is Chief of Health and Wellness Learning. They are the husband and wife team behind My Heart Wellness, an online program to teach people how to reduce their risk for heart disease and stroke through lifestyle change. Katrine and Edwin provide the guidance and support you need on the journey towards optimal heart health. Ikeda Alston, the founder of KimaCoaching.com, is a Kima parent and family coach rooted in growth. Now, this is the ultimate solution for families who want to build stronger connections, communicate effectively, and work through conflicts in a healthy way. Ikeda's coaching services are designed to help families like yours overcome challenges and build the skills and knowledge needed to maintain a happy and healthy family life. You can find a link to her website in the description. Build those healthy connections with your family and your kids today. As always, thank you for watching the MC's channel, Music at the Core of Everything.